Hey there, Dr. Christensen here with you. Got some medical news updates I wanted to share. This was a very fascinating study that was looking at different types of fats, and this was talking about rethinking vegetable oil. The title of the study was Leaner Bodies, Less Heart Disease and Diabetes Risk Found in People with Higher Levels of Linoleic Acid. So what's linoleic acid? Let me give some definitions for starters. So with fats in the diet, we've got essential fats and then non-essential fats. And there's many non-essentials. I'm just going to talk about one. The two essential fats are ones that we need that we cannot manufacture. So they're parts we need to run our machinery and we can't make them internally. The non-essential fats are ones that we do need as well, but we can make them. And what that means is we don't have to get them from our diet. We can produce them as needed. So essential fats, there's only two. There's linoleic, which is also called omega-6 fat, and there's linolenic, which is also called omega-3 fat. So you got that leic and lenic, like lean fish. So lean omega-3 and leic, I don't know, laying around, I don't know, omega-6. Then we've got oleic acid. That's the one non-essential fat that I'm going to talk about. So omega-3, omega-6, oleic acid's omega-9. And fats are just hydrocarbons. They're chains of carbon atoms, and many have a double bond. Some do not, they're saturated fats, but of those that have a double bond, they're said to be unsaturated or polyunsaturated if they have multiple double bonds. So that chain of carbons has an alpha and an omega end, like a beginning and an end. And if you go 3 carbons down from the end and put a double bond in, well, that's going to be an omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid. You guys got it. It's that simple. And it works differently based upon where the bonds are and how many bonds there are on that carbon chain, that hydrocarbon. So the study, it was a surprising study. It was noteworthy because there's been a lot of focus on oleic acid. That's also called omega-9, and it has one double bond at the omega-9 position, so one mono. So it's a monounsaturated fat. And the big excitement in monounsaturates has been the more Mediterranean oils, especially olives, avocados, macadamias, those sorts. And they've been touted to be heart healthy. Well, this study actually showed that diets that had more omega-6, more linoleic acid, they produced greater health outcomes than diets that had more oleic acid. So linoleic, again, is the omega-6. Now that one is found in a big variety of vegetable oils. And the interesting thing overall was that these were diets that were rather low in fat. They were looking at small amounts of intake of oils. So let's put some perspective on this. So now if olive oil is not the magic thing and omega-6 is good, what does this really mean? Well, I think it's just stronger evidence that fats are important, but fats are important in a context. You know, we don't need a lot of empty fat calories. And fats are probably not dangerous within the range of the typical diet, but in terms of focusing our diet, there's one really strong rule of thumb. You want to get the nutrients you need, but you don't want to blow your calorie budget. So what do I mean by that? There's some things that our body has to get. Like you're low in vitamin C and you get scurvy. Or if you're low in another B vitamin, you'll get pellagra. You know, there's all these targeted issues. And we need protein, we need fiber, you know, we need fuel for the body. But calories become a liability. You know, if we're taking in 4 times our body's calorie needs to get our nutrients, we're going to have a lot of issues, a lot of health problems managing all those calories. So the game is not missing the nutrients, but not doing a lot of empty calories. And past a certain point, fats do become empty calories. There's a lot of novel things in fats that we'll hear about, like various antioxidants or caprylic acid in coconut or various things like this. But at what calorie cost do we spend to acquire those things? And can we make them internally? So most of the stuff from fat we can make internally when we need it, with the exception of linoleic and linolenic. So linoleic, that's the omega-6. It's not hard to get. And you know, oils in general, I'm a bigger fan of nuts and seeds and avocados for omega-6 fats as far as the whole foods. In those cases, you're doing even more nutrients per calorie than you would from their corresponding oils. You're going to get fiber and minerals and other positive things, some B vitamins, whereas the oils are pretty much just the fat. So you always want to maximize your nutrient per calorie ratio. Omega-3 fats, Big thing is cold water fish. That's the main source. There are trace amounts in grass-fed beef, not a ton. It's really not on par with what you find in fish, and it's only a small amount different than the fats you find in regular beef. So really fish, do seafood several times per week. There is some omega-3 fat that our body can do some use from in things like flax or hemp, and that's called alpha-linolenic acid. That is an omega-3 fat. It's a vegetable omega-3 fat. It does require conversion, and some can make a good fat called EPA, but not many can make DHA. That's the other important omega-3 fat, but they're all in fish. So the take-home message, don't feel that omega-9 fats, oleic acid, are good things to have a ton of. And they are reasonable to have some of, but you do want to think about limiting them. And the studies now are showing that things that have these empty calories, like oleic acid, past a point do not serve us. And the fats that have the essential nutrients, the essential omega-3 fats and omega-6 fats, they may do a better job preventing heart disease, maintaining body weight, and offsetting insulin resistance. So studies showed it. Always trying to keep you all updated. Take wonderful care of yourself. We'll talk again really soon.